You're listening to Podcast BXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
Welcome, everyone, to episode 132 of Podcast PXN, the world's #1 video game podcast in all the lands. Top rated on Spotify, most number of viewers, 3 years running. I am your host, Gage Dempster. I am joined by the wonderful Dan is DTM on Twitter. Daniel Prindle, how are you today?
Doing well.
Awesome. I am joined by the host of Large Popcorn and Video Essayist, Christian Messias. How are you?
I'm so tired, but I'm ready to talk with you guys. I missed you all three of you.
Hell yeah.
Especially Ro.
Oh,
That's acceptable. Actually, that's the right answer. And the Nintendo aficionado, Rashan at Roro on Twitter. Rashan, how are you?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk video games.
Hell yeah. All right. Topic of the show today is we finally get to see what PlayStation's been working on. What we know as Codename Spartacus has been revealed as actually just a rebrand of PS Plus, and we'll get into that later. But first, we got some quick bites. We're going to run through these real quick. That's our quick bites, and if we have something to say, we'll mention it, but if not, we just kind of move around to the next thing. First of all, Gran Turismo 7 has already been addressed by the president of... How do you say this?
Polyphony.
Polyphony, that's what I see it, and it's like, that's... I don't like those. Those letters.
I probably made that up. Christian could tell me if I was right.
Get it right, yeah.
Is it Polyphony?
It's Polyphony.
See, you say it and it looks obvious,
Digital.
but when I look at that, my dyslexia just goes on red alert. It's like, that's... should look.
Mm.
Anyways, the president of Polyphony has already addressed some concerns around Gran Turismo 7. There's been a lot of discourse, and it's just a blog post detailing that they are readdressing the in-game economy, which has felt very grindy and pushing players towards microtransactions. At least that's how it feels. I haven't been able to play it yet, but it's already been addressed by the president, and he says that they are working to improve overall the rewards and the in-game economy. So that's cool. Have you guys played Gran Turismo 7 at all?
God, dude, I want to buy Gran Turismo 7 so bad, but like it came out right after Elden Ring, so I just didn't have the time for it. I plan to. Honestly, it feels like a wait for sale game or a PS Plus game, if you know what I mean. Well, more on that topic of the show, but yeah, I would like to get into it, but I did see from fans that it just felt like kind of a grind, which luckily they are addressing, and hopefully it ends up better.
Sure.
I also wanted to bring up that it got super review bombed on Metacritic, and it's now sitting at a user score of 1.8 because of all this. All of this stuff. So obviously, it's critically received at really well. It's like an 87, but the user score just went downhill with all this news regarding the microtransactions.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Rasham, because I actually forgot about that. It is the lowest rated PlayStation game of all time.
Insane. Yeah.
Good thing user score don't matter towards our fantasy critic.
No.
So lucky.
Yeah.
And that's Metacritic, right? Not OpenCritic.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That is Metacritic.
Oh, hold on. Breaking news.
Oh.
I got a new match on Tinder.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my god. Moving on to number 2. I hate this world. The Sons of the Forest has been delayed to October from May, and it hurts. It hurts. End Night doesn't say anything about their games at all. They don't give any. There's zero communication from the studio. The only time you hear from them is when the game gets delayed. So we'll see if it actually lands in October. I'm very upset, and my Open Critic fantasy draft is I'm starting to shake my boots a little bit.
Yours? How about the news here in a little bit?
Oh yeah, Dan, cry me a river.
I feel like I saw the reveal for this game, like, I don't know, pre-COVID, if I'm being honest.
It's
Or
been
am I crazy?
no, you're not actually, which is a bit insane. I think it was Game Awards 2018.
Yeah,
which hurts me.
Damn.
Hurts me a little,
in a while.
just a little bit. Coffee Talk and What Comes After developer Mohamed Fahmy dies at 32. So this is a bit unfortunate. I'm actually not familiar with this developer's game, but his sister announced on Twitter that he had passed recently, very suddenly, and there's lots of really touching tweets on Twitter that you can find of people that have worked with him, just giving their sort of condolences and saying some really sweet things. So, Rashan, Christian, have you guys played games?
I dabble a
Um,
little bit in coffee talk, and I'm sorry, Ro.
No, go for it. Go for it. I'll go after.
And Afterlove has been one of my most anticipated games of this year. So this is like, I feel like I'm more of a newcomer to Fami, if I'm being honest. But like from what I've seen, it was like a tragic loss, and like
Right.
he seemed like he was a very important voice, not just in the industry, but also like like an Asian voice in the games industry. So yeah, this is very tragic to see, and like I'm still gonna be supporting Afterlove EP when that comes out, and it's gonna be, I don't know, just a lot more bittersweet when that game comes out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. It sucks. It's just like such a sad story at like 32, as you're saying, so young, and such a talented and creative mind to have in the industry. So it's really sad to see him go. And I have played Copy Talk, loved it. I played What Comes After as well. I actually played it on an Extra Life stream in 2020, and we played through the whole thing on stream. It was really great. But yeah, it's really sad. So I can only imagine how the people who worked with him and his family must be feeling right now. But yeah, Afterlove EP, definitely going to pick that up when it comes out. I mean, I was anyway, but yeah, it's just really sad.
Very sad indeed.
Yeah, we're sending out some good vibes to his family.
I didn't know anything about him either, and I wish I had and played his games, but I have not. Obviously, I threw it on there because I knew Ro had tweeted about it, and I knew he had been a big fan of his. So,
Yeah, I'm kind of shivering right now. It's really sad because Coffee Talk 2 comes out later this year too, and it coming without him is just like, yeah, it's just really sad. Really sad.
I'm in the same boat with Dan. I'm not familiar with his work, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, 32 is way too. Sending well wishes and thoughts to his family there. Moving on, Forza Horizon 5 has added a new progression system for the PvP mode. It adds quite a bit of things, but it's getting its Series 6 update, so it's getting a bunch of additions to blueprints, and it's got a bunch of new cars, new car pass, 4 new seasons to work towards, and a new Horizon Open, which is drift style. You get a cool Mustang Mach E, which looks awesome. So that's exciting.
You guys still playing Forza? You still dabble in it every now and then?
Yeah, I think I play it the most when Gage and his friends and Glenn and all of them are playing it. I join up with them and have some fun, but I haven't played it seriously in a while.
Got it.
One of my favorite memories that I'll cherish forever, Dan, is Glenn and I talking back and forth about the speed that we're going in the proper units, and then you would be like, how are you going 400 miles an hour? And we're like, no, Dan, we're going 400 kilometers an hour. Good memory.
Yeah.
All hail metric. Next gen Apex Legends update brings Series X and PS5 enhancements finally. So 4K HDR, 60 frames per second, 120 frames goodness, all the stuff you should expect from this type of update. Increased draw distances, higher texture quality, all that good stuff. So if you're still playing Apex Legends and you're playing it on the Series X or Series S or PS5, you've got some enhancements that you can take advantage.
Tell you, when games utilize 120 frames per second, it's like, oh my god. I'm not to be crude, but like it's an orgasm to my eyes. I'm sorry. It had to be said. It's amazing.
And to be clear, they said 120 hertz may come later. That's not in this update, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah.
Well, at least you can do 4K 60, right?
Yep.
For a BR, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, and the fast-paced nature of Apex, it being at 120 frames per second would be insane.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see what that looks like.
Destiny PvP in 120 is fantastic.
I actually haven't played that. I need to play that.
Yeah.
And
you should.
PvP, yeah.
Let's get Ro PS5 or PC.
I would love that.
You know what? Let's get it
Shan,
for
I'll
him.
build you a beefy PC, my guy. I can do it.
Oh man.
We We can just
Oh,
get
man.
him whatever he wants with all the profits of PXN right now.
Yeah.
We're
Just use
rolling
company
in
money.
cash.
Well, no, what we'll do is we'll use our
AKA Dan's
sponsor. We'll
credit
use our
card.
sponsor
Yeah.
money from Manmeat.
Oh yeah, Manmeat's sponsoring us for the 13th week in a row.
Yep.
Jesus.
Which we'll have more about that later.
Oh no. Please no.
And some good news for the fantasy fantasy
No.
league. Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed. Get fucked, Dan.
Oh no.
Get
Uh,
absolutely
yeah.
tilted.
Now do
alright?
God of War next.
No, Christian. What do you mean? You're supposed to be the PlayStation guy here. You should be rooting for
We
it.
don't need God of War this year. It's
No.
not coming this year.
Christian.
No. As soon as this fantasy league started, it became war.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. People are saying March for Zelda. That'll get pushed to April. I guarantee you, April will be God of War and Breath of the Wild 2 the same
Could
month.
be.
I'm calling it right now. It's gonna happen.
Interesting.
A lot of people were pointing out how Nintendo said they were aiming for 2022 to release it, and they're like, yeah, it's coming 2023 because they're aiming for it in 2022.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I hope it's a March release. That would be cool if it released on the anniversary.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Still excited
Yeah.
for this game.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? They showed a little bit of new footage in like
They
the
did.
Yeah.
the arm.
The arm, yeah, he has like like claws. It looks
The-
like,
yeah.
and the Master Sword is like broken and it's glowing. So cool! Can't wait.
The sky stuff looks so cool. Like,
Right?
oh,
Yes. Yeah.
Breath of the Wild Infinite, you're here for it. It looks good. That was a BioShock Infinite joke. That's my bad. Very poor. Should have said it.
Very poor game as well.
what?
Really,
Christian,
you
no.
got some crazy.
No,
I'm
no.
inclined to not believe you because you were really wrong. about
BioShock Infinite.
BioShock.
BioShock Infinite is not good.
I'm
No,
inclined to
Christian.
not believe
Your
you.
opinions
That
on
That
Bioshock's
game
out
is aged
here.
terribly.
Get
That
outta
game is
here.
aged terribly.
I love
I can't
it.
believe when I play. Well, I'm gonna drop some Isolate Christian lore. When I played that game for the first time, I was like, is this better than The Last of Us? And then a month later, I was like, I'm fucking insane, dude.
Christian.
And then
I
this
can't believe I uttered
progressively-
those words.
Yeah, Infinite has gotten worse and worse. over the
Christian.
years.
Bioshock Infinite is at a 94 on Metacritic. Do not tell me it's bad.
Just saying.
I'm just
Spitting facts here.
It's a spicy episode, boys. It's a spicy episode. I bring the chaos when I host. I don't even mean to. Moving on to the next bit of quick bites, which are not quick at all because I'm hosting, and for some reason that the show has to go long when I host. $100 million has been raised from Epic/Microsoft profits from Fortnite to benefit Ukraine. Let's go. That's really exciting.
Do you remember last week when I said, "Wow, this is insane! $30 million. This is like huge." And then here we are a week later, and this post is from like Monday or something, or
Yeah.
even Sunday.
Yeah,
I think it was Monday.
Two-
100 million. That
It's-
is crazy.
it's huge. It's huge.
and
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
I like also how they literally are telling you exactly where the money's going. Like they have all of the people they're working with, UNICEF, WFP, refugees, Direct Relief, and they're now collaborating with World Central Kitchen. I think that's really cool that they're like telling you where the money's going. They're not just saying,
Yes,
oh, it's going to Ukraine or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Transparency is really important. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Ukraine's largest donor is
Yes.
Fortnite. Is like Epic
Wow.
Games. Is like a video game company is making the most difference over there, which is so cool.
The largest
It's
corporate.
cool, but also a little bit sad because
In a way,
why
yeah,
is a
you're
video-
right.
Why
Yeah.
is a video game company
You're right.
providing them the most support?
Yeah.
But
Kind
it's
of-
also like 100% of their profits, right? And it's like one of the biggest like entertainment
Yeah.
properties
For sure.
like,
And-
ever right now. So
At the
Yeah.
start of a new season with a new battle pass, like that's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers for what you got for me, but like if you scroll through the shop, they have like all these bundles, and it'll say right there like this is like directly supporting Ukraine, like on like
Right.
a lot of them. So
So yeah, just good stuff there. Activision Blizzard, so into some not good stuff. Activision Blizzard settled its sexual harassment lawsuit for a measly $18 million. Now, it's one of those things where it's like I see this and I'm like, I'm glad that you are being held accountable, but it's like $18 million versus like somebody died over this stuff. You know what I mean? Like it might be a bit harsh to think about, but it's like I see the number 18 million. And it's like I still feel like you guys are getting let off easy. Like
that's nothing.
Yeah,
To them, that's
right?
nothing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I can equate this to like. Just bear with me for a second. So, in soccer news here in Portland, there was a player who like assaulted his wife, like beat her and stuff. And so it was like a huge thing, and about how like the team like owners knew about this and they tried to cover it up. Blah blah blah. They finally settled, and it was $25 million to cover that. When you compare that to one of the owners like yelled some stuff at a referee like 2 seasons ago and was fined $100 million. So like, how is one thing like 4 times more than like assaulting someone? Like that doesn't make sense. In the same vein, like $18 million, like yes, it's a lot of money and like that's great, it's something, but it still doesn't really quite seem like enough. Like more like a slap on the wrist, if that.
Especially from a company that is going through a $70 billion acquisition. It's like,
sure,
Jesus.
Right, and that's the thing. I don't mean to be morbid or down, but I just think like, okay, $18 million. We're not sure how this is being divvied up, but let's say it all goes to the family of the woman that ended up committing suicide. It's like, great, now they have $18 million and they still have that person gone from their family. So it's like, it's super unfortunate. It's crazy that there's. Yeah, I'm guessing that's why they settled, is because they didn't want to face any sort of criminal trial or anything like that. But there's some sort of closure, I guess, happening now.
It's like you're saying, though. It's like no amount of money is ever enough to get rid of that grief for that family and whoever has been at the hands of these sexual harassment allegations and stuff like that. But again, like there's nothing's going to change unless people start leaving the company. That's the real change that needs to happen. It doesn't matter how much money Activision is paying people to shut up. The people who are making the allegations, or who are not making the allegations, the people that are causing lawsuits to happen in the first place, should be not at the company anymore. And Bobby Kotick's still there. Even Bobby Kotick, like that $18 million is
that's the thing. This doesn't
even
set
for
a
him.
precedent. Because this is like when Justin Bieber drives his Ferrari down the street races and gets a $4,000 fine. It's like the guy makes $1 million a month. That's not, you're not dissuading him at all. So
man, it's got to be like less than 1% of someone's like net worth there. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
Christian. Oh, sorry. I was going to make a light joke to end on, but if you have something, okay.
That's tell me.
Christian, Glenn says, "What is soccer?" in the chat.
You know what? Shut up, man. The USA just qualified for the World Cup for the first time in over 8 years.
I love it.
Why don't you get with the program, buddy?
Oh, I love this energy. I love it. I feed off of it. Okay, moving on to some more nonsense. Go ahead.
I said also I love you, and I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Among Us dropped Master Chief stuff and Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation version. That's kind of neat. Is anybody still playing Among Us?
I'll dive back in to get this. I want the Master Chief.
Dan, you're a fiend. That's why.
Yes, I am.
If let's be real, if us 4 played Among Us, I would vote Dan every time automatically. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No, I don't know what you mean. Why don't you expand on that?
Like, even if I knew he was a crewman, I'd be like, you know what? Like, it's Dan. It's gotta be Dan.
What if we did a podcast PXN Among Us stream?
Christian, remember a few weeks ago when you said that you were always
idea, right?
You were always piling on me. Here we go again.
This is my shtick now. I've accepted it.
See, this is good. This is why we need an Among Us podcast PXN stream. To be fantastic.
That would be cool.
Heart Machine reveals Hyper Lightbreaker coming spring 2023. I've never heard of this before. I saw that you sent it in our group chat. I watched the trailer or went to their Steam page and saw like their clips and all that and the screenshots. This looks super cool. This looks really cool.
They've got incredible art style there, and like for it to be a sequel to Hyper Light Drifter, but like what they learned with Solar Ash, like kind of like cool traversal, 3D, co-op, which is insane. Yeah, this should be a great game. This totally out of left field announcement, but I'm glad it's here.
Right. Okay, moving on to our next segment, Street Meat, brought to you by ManMeat. Use code Daniel Prindle
No.
at manmeat.com.
No, Daniel has no code
off
for
your first
ManMeat.
order. That's Daniel Prindle for 50% off your first order. Thanks, ManMeat. Okay, so Street Meat. This is the section where we talk about things that could be good, could be bad. You never know until you put it in your mouth. So the first first order of business, according to an article from Jez Corden of Windows Central, Xbox is planning on launching a family plan for Xbox Game Pass, and it could be unveiled as early as holiday 2022. This is huge news. Now, I should note
that's like 8 months away.
That's 8 months away. Now, I put this as Street Meat because it is technically a rumor, even though it's coming from Windows Central and Jez Corden, who's a reliable journalist. I wouldn't even say he's an industry insider. He's definitely just an actual established journalist. It is still technically a rumor. He's reporting on what he's heard from anonymous sources. So, this is huge though, because especially when we get into topic of the show and lots of comparisons and charts being thrown around, one of the big sort of things that Nintendo has over its competitors is the family plan.
Love it.
Really cool that Xbox could potentially be seeing this. Apparently, we have no details on specifics for pricing, but Jez Corden did note that what he's heard is that it's quote far cheaper than paying for the amount, which according to his article is 5. So it's going to be 5 subscriptions to Game Pass Ultimate, and he says that it's far cheaper than subscribing to 5 separate ones. So that's huge. Yeah,
I need to know what because surely they've crunched the numbers on this kind of stuff before. Like they're probably doing it now, right? Like finalizing all that stuff. No way it's if we have up to 5 people sign up for this pass together, we'll still be making money offering these high quality games on our platform each and every month. There's no way. I don't believe Xbox can be this successful. That's crazy to me.
I agree with you, Christian, actually, because I'm not even convinced that it's profitable now. I see how it can be profitable over with volume. I'm definitely not one of those doubters that it's never going to be profitable. But what we've seen from Xbox is that they have bank and now they're using it. They're using it to try and get a leg up on the competition. So I don't think they're making a profit now. And I agree with you, Christian. I see this and I'm like, well, how does this affect the deals that you make with publishers and all this stuff for paying for games on Game Pass? How does this affect? It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I have no idea. Daniel, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally bumped my mic when you were talking. It freaked me out. Yeah, I definitely see what you guys are saying, but I feel like this would open up a lot more revenue for them that they previously wouldn't be getting. Maybe I'm mistaken in this, but I'm just thinking if one person in your household has Game Pass Ultimate and normally they're sharing their account or whatever, or maybe they have kids or whatever they're sharing with it and saying, hey, log into my Xbox under my account, you can play with these games. I feel like it may open up the possibility to those parents saying, oh, I can just, save some money and get you guys Game Passes also, and they're getting 2 more revenue streams or however many kids they have that they wouldn't have otherwise had. Obviously, that's not research or anything like that, so I have no idea what the numbers actually look like. That's just my, takeaway from it is kind of that. But then you also have the other side where it's maybe you have people exploiting it where you have you and 4 friends that are hey, let's all sign up together and save money.
Which is what I'm going to do. And I'm sure enough, a lot of people are going to do as well.
Absolutely. Right? That's immediately what I thought of. My only question though, Dan, for that scenario, because I did think of that though, is that Xbox currently has the home console system in place. So if it's a family situation and if just one person has their Game Pass Ultimate, the entire family can already benefit from that.
Wait, is that true though for Game Pass? I thought with Game Pass you had to have it on the account you're playing with, because I think with game sharing it works that way, but I don't think it works that way for Game Pass unless I'm mistaken.
I could be wrong. I was operating under the impression, but I haven't tested that any time recently. Yeah. But so I mean, yeah, that's a good point. So if it doesn't work like that, then absolutely. I was under the impression it was. I don't.
The alternative is that there are still tons of people who have like PCs, for example, and don't have Game Pass, and because of this family plan, I'm like, well, if you get it, then I'll get it too because it's going to be cheaper for us to all get it together. And suddenly, there's more people that are coming on to Game Pass.
Interesting.
That's a great point as well, Christian, because people on PC right now are paying $9.99 a month for Game Pass for PC. So like, if they get Ultimate, obviously they're not getting a benefit. So like, if you have friends on PC and you're on Xbox, like I wonder how the pricing will work. Like if you mix and mash, if that will actually save the PC players money or not. I don't know.
That's a good point, Dan. Yeah, because Ultimate, the big draw of Ultimate is that it's live plus Game Pass, whereas on PC you don't require live, right? So what's the draw there? That's interesting. But yeah, I agree with I second Christian. I'm immediately gonna try and weasel my way into some sort of
too many subscription services, man. I gotta save money where I can.
Well, we got more for you, Christian.
Do we?
Yeah. I heard
in
you
the
like
news.
subscription services.
Oh, yeah, and I got thoughts.
And the second bit is that there are quite a few rumors going around of a big PlayStation acquisition, or to be more nebulous, just some sort of big PlayStation announcement or news that is apparently on the horizon.
I can corroborate this. I said that like if I know.
Industry insider, Christian.
I listened to Games Daily this morning while I was at the office, and Jeff Grubb came on the show on that show, and he said it first, which made then Greg Miller be like, okay, yeah, this is what I heard too. There's a big PlayStation acquisition that is like currently happening, and people didn't know if that was like going to be announced this week or if that deal is finalized or when that's happening. But there are people in the industry, insiders, hearing the same thing, that there is a big acquisition in the works.
Okay.
Who's it gonna be?
I mean, From is the one that's getting tossed around a lot. That's what I've been hearing, is that From Software is I've also
love
heard
that.
Konami. Yeah.
Yeah. The other is was it Square? I think people are throwing around Square.
I've heard Konami. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I think it was Square. Is what I was seeing people talk about on Twitter. Konami, I don't know. I don't know if they would do that.
Yeah, I don't think Konami.
I don't see them doing that.
I don't
Have
think
they made much though lately? The last big Konami game I remember is Metal Gear Survive, and that was lukewarm at best.
They've been making pachinko machines. They're still making their money. They're doing stuff. They have like new merch going out like every 2 to 3 months, and just on their IP, and people buy it.
Yeah.
And that's their biggest asset, is their IP. Like they have no value essentially in their development studios anymore, I don't think.
Well, that's exactly why I think it might be a brilliant idea, is because the PlayStation acquisition wouldn't affect any of that. They still get that, and then Sony just has access to their IP, so they could use their own developers. But I think if I had to guess, my gut says From Software, but.
Which would be a great get, but also like terrible, because like Elden Ring is one of the highest selling games from Software ever put out. Literally like their best selling game, and that came out multi-platform, right? That's why it sold so well,
Now, here's the question though: is that is From, because of the monstrous success of Elden Ring, which is crazy compared to their past releases. Like, this game has gone well above anything that they've launched before. Are they? If they were in talks with PlayStation, are they now using that to say like, hey, you guys got Bungie and they're multi-platform. If you want us, we're staying multi-platform. Is that maybe something that they've said? Because this has been a huge release.
I'm not sure, because if you like, FromSoft players will know that they had the chance to sweep them up a long time ago with Demon Souls, right? And they passed that up infamously, right? Maybe From Software still feels kind of burnt. Gage, you're onto something. Maybe they, sure, we'll, be a PlayStation studio, but we still want to put our games out multi-platform like that. That could be the case, but I don't know. It's been so long since then that I just don't know. And plus, I'm not an insider.
Not to say that it won't be a big studio, but it could also be something like Deviation Games or one of those partners that they announced similarly to what was their last studio they just acquired?
Haven?
Blanking. Yes. So they announced that partnership with Haven, and then they acquired them. It could be something like that with, I know Deviation off the top of my head, but there's others as well.
Firewalk, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
True. So
Wait,
we're gonna
cool stuff, man.
we're gonna keep an ear out for that, and we will let you know as soon as we hear anything. We've got Christian keeping his ear to the ground over at Sony.
Heck yeah.
God, I wish.
All right, moving on to the news. Rockstar has announced a GTA Online subscription service, which is called GTA Plus. The service will be priced at $6 US a month, or like $8, I think, Canadian, and provide players with $500,000 currency, which is deposited to your account every month, vehicles, property, exclusive discounts, and more. Gentlemen, this is it. This is the age of subscriptions. You just started getting tired of all your TV subscriptions? Well, guess what, gentlemen? I've got news for you. You're gonna need a Destiny subscription. You're gonna need a GTA subscription. You're gonna need a Game Pass.
Wait, is there a Destiny subscription?
No, not yet.
God.
Oh.
Not yet, yeah.
Why are you saying not yet? Like if it's looming, is there rumbles?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
It seems like that's the way everything's moving, though. Everything's moving subscription.
Fortnite,
We'll get into that with exactly. Yep, Fortnite. We'll get into that more with topic of the show. But I did just want to, before I pass it off to you to see what you guys think about this. I did just do a quick little Google and see what some of the most recent vehicles in GTA Online cost. And most of the cars, tanks, cool stuff that you actually want to buy around will be generous and say $3 million. So with this subscription, ladies and gentlemen, you just wait 6 months' time and you get yourself a brand new vehicle.
I will. Okay, Gage,
Oh, no.
as someone who has played probably too much GTA Online, not that much. I'm not like an insane person. All right, like it's crazy how that game is structured. You'll need they'll launch. Rockstar will launch this big update. Oh, you can buy bunkers now, and then to go on these like cool bunker missions. So you need to save up money to buy the bunker, which will cost you, I don't know, let's say like $5 million. And once you do that, you have to invest more into other stuff to add to your bunker to then go on these missions. It's like it's just kind of keeps circling like that.
So I've held this opinion for a very long time, and I've been very vocal about it. Rockstar makes fantastic games, and they're like just could give a shit about their community. It's so true, and it's true with Red Dead. It's true with GTA. It doesn't matter. You don't care how much you guys whine, cry, beg. This game has been grindy as hell from day one, and they've never fixed it. They don't care. And do you know
why?
Crazy, because people spend money.
Because their revenue comes from the shark cards that they always put on sale, so that you are incentivized to go buy the shark cards. Which no one talks about how like disgusting that is, but
it is.
They do it all the time,
and it's crazy. I remember it was probably within, I think, the first year, maybe the second year when GTA Online launched. When people had money hacks, obviously, and I don't mean like hacks as in mods, I mean just like glitches and stuff like that. I remember they were coming after people's accounts and like banning people, and I was like, you guys are treating this like it's real currency. You guys are ridiculous. This is crazy. Yeah, Rockstar's awful for that. But how do we feel about games now, seemingly very popular games? It seems to be becoming a trend, getting their own subscription service. I'm going to pass it over to you, Daniel. Tell us what you think.
So I'm a little less harsh on this than you guys are. I feel like this isn't that bad. $6 a month if you love like GTA Online. Like obviously 500,000 a month isn't going to get you a crazy amount like you guys are saying, but like I feel like that's not crazy. Like just for an example, like I logged into GTA Online for the new gen update for like a little bit just to check it out. And I realized I had like $4.5 million in my account from when I had redeemed Twitch Prime things and all of these other things in the past. It wasn't even recent. So like, I don't even know if they've released that kind of stuff recently. So like, I just had a cool $4.5 million sitting there, and I was like, all right, well,
you can buy one car.
I was going to say, yes, exactly.
See,
I'm going to buy like one thing, two things max.
I think that's an exaggeration, personally.
It's not.
Because
it's not.
Well, no. I bought, so yes, if you buy like the top of the line stuff, I absolutely agree. But like,
which you have to buy all the fun things.
Oh,
I don't know.
If you join a race online, you'll need to have those cars in order to compete, or else people are smoking you in that game.
That's fair. But there's a million other things you could do. You don't have to race. You could do
In golf.
That's true. With your 4.5, you could buy one cool thing, or you could just get your Toyota Camry and just stay in your lane.
I just
Dan, you know what? I'm gonna corroborate you for a second. One of my favorite things to do in GTA Online with my friend is we bought bicycles and we'll bike from the coast all the way up to Mount Chiliad and then just like enjoy the view and just talk for like a minute and then we go fuck around and like ride it down the mountain.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so I'm gonna also chime in here too. But this is only a symptom of how grindy the game is and how you end up not wanting to play it properly. My friend and I would like literally, when we'd want to hang out over Xbox Live, we would jump into GAT Online and we'd like, let's have a beach day, and we'd go and we'd make our dudes look like they were going to the beach. We'd get in like one of the civilian cars and just drive the speed limit from the city to like the waterfall and then just start diving off. These are the things you have to do to keep yourself entertained, because I see people flying space jets and I'm like, oh, I can't afford a down payment on that, let alone being able to fly it anytime soon. So yes, there is enjoyment to be had. I think you're looking at it you're looking at it with a micro lens, Dan, where I'm looking at it the macro, where it's like we have a video game that has its own subscription service that wants money from its people every month. That seems like not a good thing that we should promote.
No, I think it's a little trickier than that, and of course there's motion detected at my front door. I think it's a little trickier than that, because like if the content they're providing in return for that is substantial enough, and you enjoy what you're playing, like I don't think it's necessarily cut and dry and saying like that's not good or that's good or whatever. And especially if you compare it to like Fortnite, for example. Fortnite, if you subscribe to Fortnite Club, I think it's like $12 a month or something like that. And you don't get that substantial amount of stuff. Like you're getting skins for the most part. Whereas GTA Online, you're getting things that you're actually utilizing in the game. And also, they've given away a bunch of free stuff too. Like I have the Hydra jet that I don't remember how I even got that, but it's a freaking military jet that you can fly around and have fun with. So I had that just booting up the game, and then I used my $4.5 million to buy a cool car that somebody said, oh, this is really good, buy it. I was like, all right, spent about $2 million on that. But yeah, I don't know. Personally, I'm just not as down on it, but again, I see your guys' points. It is another thing you have to pay for, and I get it, but also this game came out 8 years ago, so they kind of support it, I guess, somehow.
That's true. Roshan, how does this news make you feel?
It just doesn't seem like something that they need to do, and that they're just doing it to get the money, like you guys are saying. I haven't played GTA Online, maybe ever. I think I played it maybe for like an hour one day. But like Dan was saying, it came out 8 years ago. And it's still selling like crazy. Like it's on the top 10 list like all the time still.
Yeah.
So I think they're still making a lot of money. And this just seems like, I don't know, unnecessary. An unnecessary thing to add. It's I don't know. I really don't know. Like $5.99. It seems like they need to fix the grindiness, like you were saying, Gage, instead of introducing a way to, like, the way to fix the grindiness shouldn't be a subscription fee to get the money that is so hard to get in game,
right?
But yeah, I agree with Dan. It may not be as cut and dry as we are maybe making it out to be, but I hope this isn't like a new trend that is happening in games, because I just think the systems that you created should just work in the first place, and not have us shelf out $6.99 or more to ease the grind.
Right.
Christian.
Are subs the future? I think unfortunately, yes, right. However, it's times like this when I see stuff like Rockstar's announcement that really makes me thankful that the software came out with a $60 game that is like call me a curmudgeon, call me cynic, but like that game is like
just
a
finished.
full experience from start. Yeah, 100+ hours. You get the product that you buy, you pay for, right? Whereas when I see stuff like this, it's like, well, I feel like less of a player and more like a commodity to use. It's like milk and that to me isn't like the kind of experience I like,
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's something that I've been saying for a while, where it's like video games are more and more every day becoming more clear that they're not being treated as art and they're being treated as a business, right? Like it's just becoming more and more transparent that that's the case, where it's like, how can we make this the most effective business product as opposed to how can we make this the best piece of art that we're on? And it's unfortunate.
Which again, it's a little tricky also because GTA 5 launched with a 40-hour campaign, which was fantastic. So like, do you consider that as part of the package? Because obviously, Elden Ring you can't necessarily compare that directly to something like this because you have almost two separate things. You have GTA Online and you have GTA Story. So like, how do you delineate like comparing this to this? Because they're kind of, I don't know.
I think the direct comparison between those two, you have a point there, but I think, I mean, not to speak for you, Christian, but it's like GTA is a symptom of just the atmosphere now. Like against a lot of the games that are out now, Elden Ring is kind of unique in that sense because GTA is not the only game that is trying to. I mean, we just talked about Gran Turismo 7, right? Which was also, from what I heard, overwhelmingly unanimously like agreed that it was way too grindy, like unrealistically grindy. So it does seem to be some sort of. I mean, and you have things which there's debate around, but you have things like Halo and Call of Duty every year. Like there's a lot of. It feels like I agree, Christian. It feels like it definitely starting to feel a bit more like these games are being made with what's the coolest way we can get money out of people as opposed to what's the coolest best game we can. And,
which sucks because GTA Online is like it is awesome, right? Like
it is awesome, but that's part of the problem is that you boot it up and you want to do all the cool new things and then you can't. Like you said, you have to drop $16 million altogether to get all the things to then do the fun. Well, that's unfortunate. Moving on though to the second piece of news, Halo the series has premiered on Paramount Plus. And it's being met with positive reception overall. Many fans and viewers have praised the tone, set design, and performances, while criticism focusing on pacing, CGI, and writing. It's also set a viewership record for Paramount Plus. So in the pre-show, I mentioned that I owed Dan an apology because I was very down on this, and I watched the first episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit. From a technical standpoint, I feel like I stand corrected. Still a lot to be desired on the objective side of things, but I had a fun time with it. Dan, what did you think of the first episode?
Yeah. Actually, I've watched the first 2 episodes as the second one came out today. I won't give anything on that because I know you haven't watched it yet. But I really enjoyed it for the most part. There are definitely issues that I have with it. And I think some of those issues come out in episode 2. But again, I'm not going to go into that. I'll wait for you to get caught up a little bit before we go into that. But
talk about it.
Yeah, there are some issues with it though. Like you and I talked about a little bit before in the pre-show. Like the elite designs, I think are a little weird. Like they don't seem like as agile and like slimming and like I don't know quick as they are in the games. Obviously this is its own thing, so I'm not going to compare it directly to the games, but like there are some really good CG moments. Like I think the Prophets look freaking incredible. Like that's
Now sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, and I know that part of the Prophets is puppeteering and part of it is CG. I get all of that, but like just the look of the Prophets are absolutely incredible. And even like High Charity, which is the Covenant's home, not world, but home base.
Their home base, yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I think it looks fantastic. But yeah, Pablo Schreiber, I think, does a fantastic job as Chief. I honestly, I think a lot of people overreacted to the whole taking off his helmet thing because it is a TV show.
I disagree. I disagree entirely.
You're allowed. You're allowed to disagree.
I compare it to Mandalorian. Granted, I haven't seen the Halo series, but like, from what I know of Mandalorian, that moment felt earned. Whereas what I see from people talking about Halo is that moment didn't feel earned. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't agree that it didn't feel earned. I just think it was too soon. I think I really liked how they presented it. I just didn't like how soon it was, if that makes sense. Like,
sure.
So, I think I know what you're trying to say, Dan, but I don't think it was earned. I think it was for a good reason. Like the reason that
Right.
it happens in the show is good, but I don't think they earned that yet. Like if that exact same moment for the same situation happened like 3 episodes from now, I feel like it would just feel better because it just waited longer to get to
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
I liked the subtext of that scene and why he did it, but the first episode of the first, I don't know. I feel like it was a little soon.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It was too soon.
Right.
I personally, I liked that scene and I liked the circumstances surrounding it. I thought that was really cool to see that. And obviously, with it being a TV show, it's different than the games because, like, I'll give you a great example. Joe Staten, who is longtime Bungie writer, he was there for a long time. He's now head of 343's division for Halo Infinite. He posted on Twitter something that I thought made perfect sense. Me and Gage have had conversations before about this, about how the Master Chief should be, or this or that, or whatever. And he said the perfect thing. He basically said that, like, everyone's Master Chief isn't the same. Like, I may view Master Chief one way, Gage may view him one way, Joe Staten may view him one way. The way Joe Staten views Master Chief in the games is as a vessel to the player, essentially. The player is Master Chief. And in the show, Joe Staten says that the Master Chief is a completely different thing. He is his own character. So I think that's an important thing to like take away from this. Like, everyone's Master Chief is going to be different, because I don't think of Master Chief as the vessel. I don't think of myself as Master Chief when I'm playing Halo, but I know Gage has talked about he does, and obviously Joe has talked about he does. So like, it is a very like, interesting issue that Halo has in general. Like, how do they think about all of these things and like incorporate all of these things to make everyone happy? That's kind of the tricky dance that they play. But yeah, I really like Pablo's take on Chief, and yeah, very interested to see more episodes.
You know what's unfortunate though, Dan? And I know you said you haven't seen a lot of his movies, but I was watching this, and so the episode starts off great. I'm not going to talk about specific spoilers, but comes out with a bang.
Yes.
Awesome set piece, awesome sort of first 15 minutes of this episode. It's really great. I like the tone. It's way more brutal than I thought it was going to be, which is what I wanted. But I was watching it, and I the problems with this with the fact that my problems are with the CGI and the directing. I was like, man, both of those could have been solved with Neil Blomkamp. Both of them could have been solved in one go. And it's super upsetting because he's done amazing. His VFX studio is incredible, and he's also a competent director. Super unfortunate. Also, not a huge fan of how the elites have like 3 feet on Master Chief in this. I was like, aren't they supposed to be like equally imposing? That's like the whole point of the Spartans, and it's weird to see them all like drastically different heights from each other. But again, that's just what you get when you have actors in suits, as opposed to, like proper, really well thought out CGI. But I enjoyed it. Rashan, I am curious. Do you plan on checking this out?
Oh boy. I don't know. There's a whole list of shows that I still need to watch. I still need to finish Daredevil. I need to watch iCarly on Paramount Plus before I watch Halo.
You do need to finish Daredevil. That's a fantastic show.
Yes.
Yeah, you can finish iCarly first.
Yeah. So I do want to. I say I want to watch it, but it's going to get away from me. No doubt in my mind. It is like months are going to go by and the season's going to be done. And yeah, I'm probably not going to get to it. In my mind, I am, but in reality, I'm probably not going to get to it with the other shows that I want to watch.
As a mega Halo fan, I feel like it's safe to say, as of right now, you're not missing much. It's cool for Halo fans. I enjoyed what I saw. You're not missing much. This isn't Game of Thrones yet, so no worries there. Christian, do you plan on watching Halo?
No, I'm sorry.
Now, follow up question: if they made a Splitgate TV series,
I don't think I would either. No. If I'm being honest, I'm just like, TV is not my favorite medium to watch anymore, because I feel like a lot of subscription services are really focused on making content and not like actual kind of TV drama that I'm like really invested in, which is my whole problem with the MCU TV shows. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, you're literally saying what I was about to say. Go for it.
Yeah, so like I'm very picky with the TV that I choose to spend my time with, because I know like there are certain shows that are like that upper echelon S tier kind of level that like I'm looking forward to with like the content that I enjoy like in film and TV. So yeah, if I'm gonna I'm gonna watch a show, it's gonna be the ones that like I know that are like critically acclaimed that I really want to get into, like stuff like
Right.
The Expanse and
I was just
Succession.
I was just about to say, I promise you, The Expanse is that S tier. The themes,
Yeah.
everything in it, the writing. Dan, have you watched it a second time yet?
Not a second time, no.
So the wonderful thing about The Expanse compared to Game of Thrones is that the books always stayed ahead of the show. So they plant things in season 1 that pay off in like season 5 and 6. Like that show is so incredibly meticulously thought out.
Mhm.
Highly recommend. And to anyone watching who watched the Halo series and maybe didn't like it, The Expanse is what I like to call the unofficial Halo series in terms of its tone and its themes. And even there's quite a lot of similarities between characters like Joel Piermont and Catherine Halsey are pretty much the same character. It's cool. Check out The Expanse. It's great. Christian, go ahead.
Quick clarification. I said Succession, but I think it's Succession, the pre-show as well. I meant Severance, the new Apple TV show. That
I have heard good things about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Christian, that's exactly what I was going to say, by the way. The Marvel TV stuff on Disney Plus is what I would liken the Halo stuff on Paramount to. So, like, it's pretty much
Got it. Okay.
you're a big MCU fan that has to have all the content. You're probably going to enjoy the Disney Plus stuff. If you're a big Halo fan that enjoys literally all the Halo stuff, you'll enjoy it. Yeah, it's totally
Oh,
a
that makes
similar
sense.
thing.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Christian, is there something you'd like to ask us all before we get into the fantasy draft second?
Not until after you say the item. Why?
Oh, okay. There is one more item. There's got to be one every show. Look at that. E3 is canceled for 2022. Meanwhile, Summer Games Fest. You know what? Jeff Keighley is quick to tweet that out. I don't know how I feel about that. You have some respect for the dead, Jeff. But anyways, minutes after E3 was being reported that it was canceled, Jeff liked to jump on Twitter and say that Summer Games Fest is happening. It's returning this summer, and the IGN Summer of Gaming is also going to return this year. So there's going to be a live show for both of those. There's going to be lots of game reveals and stuff. It's kind of like their summer version of the Game Awards, kind of, but not quite to that extent. But that's usually what it ends up being. Christian, do you have a question for everyone?
No, I'm not even getting to the question yet. I'm gonna just directly respond to this news. I'm gonna say it. I'm sick and tired of seeing like games industry, like actual folks, like make fun of how E3 is dead. Because I think one, like, if it's dead, it's dead. It's fine, you know, right? Like we don't need to the constant jokes. But like more importantly, I think small timers like us, like E3 does still mean something, even to the
Yes.
even in its dying form. Like that does mean something to go to E3. Like people remember like that those kinds of stuff because it's fun. But more importantly than that, I think for like small teams going to these kinds of events, like it's make or break for so many people that get to, even just for like people who want to make it into the industry, that is a place for people to go and network. You don't get that kind of network when you have digital events. And that's what
Right.
everyone like it seems to be forgetting is like this is a place to talk to other people about all the stuff that we're enjoying. And like that just completely goes away now that everything is shifting to digital, which is a huge bummer. So like, yes, I am mourning this. I hope E3 comes back big in 2023.
Right.
But that's just me.
For sure. And I'd like to point out, yeah, like you said, a lot of people are quick to make jokes, and a lot of people are quick to rightfully point out a lot of criticism of E3. Like they've had a really bad
Sure.
past of like doxing journalists and really poor planning and all this stuff. But I
Leaking
think
credentials
what
online.
no, absolutely, you're right. So when I say like, so when I agree with you, Christian, and I think when I say you know, I want E3 to come back, what I mean is I want some sort of E3 type event where it's like this is a weekend. There is a physical element to it, but it's literally a congregation of everything gaming where people can go and people at home can sort of say, "Hey, this weekend is when I'm going to tune into Xbox stream, the PlayStation stream, the Ubisoft stream. Everything is all in one go," because not only, like you said, with networking for people that are actually in the industry, but um, I've noticed that every E3 alternative is like people doing their own press conferences spread over like course of like months, and like sometimes you don't know when it's happening until like
Sure.
2 weeks before it happens. So I personally miss it for just that, the nostalgia of like, hey guys, this weekend E3 is happening. Come over to my place. Let's watch it.
Oh,
Let's, you know what I mean? Like it's just a good time. It's I know it's overused, but like E3 is very much the nerd Super Bowl. Like it's like the hell yeah, let's all get together and watch this. And I'm not sure I'm a fan of the alternative right now. I don't like the all digital, all separate, scattered events. I'm not a fan. Dan, how do you feel?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Gage. That was something I looked forward to every year is the E3 week. Like that's just something. And you have the conferences that used to be like on 2 to 3 days. You would have just packed full of conferences, and I would take off work to literally watch all of them because it was so great. Like just getting announcements after announcements, and it was that is something I'm gonna miss. Obviously, there is a little bit of good in terms of spreading things out because you're getting stuff more over a longer period of time. But at the same time, I'd rather have everything at once and have like an event out of it because it's just more exciting that way. And it's actually like to your point, Christian, before about small time people, getting, features or whatever, like just having E3 in your, YouTube titles or descriptions or all of that added so much more buzz to whatever you're working on. Like I did for a long time, I did E3 predictions for many years on my personal account. And every year, like I was always so excited to do them. And like every year it got progressively bigger, like in terms of views until 2019 was a freaking max for me. I think I had like 1.6 thousand views on my Microsoft predictions that year. I was super stoked. And then what happens 2020, COVID, and I posted Xbox predictions with there's no E3, and what do I get? Like, I don't know, 60 views or something. It's disheartening for stuff like that for people creating content. So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I just hope it comes back someday. Like as we're all saying, like E3 has impacted us in more ways than not. And like Christian was saying, the people who were joking on it, it impacted those people too. They were in the industry going to those events, and they want to act like they didn't love it, but they loved it. They loved it. But yeah, I remember skipping school. Like we say it's the weekend, but there were some days where it fell during the week, right? Certain press conferences would be like on a Tuesday or something.
Mondays or Tuesdays usually.
Yeah, and I would just like screw math class, and I would come home and watch that stuff just on my computer in the basement, and I had a blast. So, and I still have a dream of going to E3 someday, but that can't happen if it stays digital or if it doesn't come back in person. So I'm really crossing my fingers that someday, hopefully 2023, it returns and it's actually really good and not a shell of its former self. But I am happy that Jeff Keighley and other people are trying to fill that void, because without them, then we would literally have nothing. But I do prefer the original weekend condensed version than the spread out version. And I think that is the biggest critique that people have with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest thing, that everything seems so spread out and the events that are happening aren't really always as exciting. So yeah, I miss E3, but I am happy that Summer Games Fest is happening.
They fixed it last year because the first year it was like over the course of like a month or so, like June and July. I was like, what is going on? But like last year, obviously they had the big showcase, which arguably was actually a really good showcase. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Jeff came with the stuff, so and there. I mean, not to say that Summer Games Fest isn't good, because it's great, but I also do miss E3. So
yeah, I'll say I miss what E3 used to be, because the last few E3s weren't very good. But absolutely. Yeah, I just want E3 to go back to what it used to be, what I was excited to skip school and watch.
I think what it comes down to for me is that, as somebody who can barely remember what I did the day before, I like the idea of only having to remember one weekend. Okay, it's June 23rd. Cool. That's the weekend I need to pay attention to stuff. Whereas, the Summer Games Fest, especially like you said, Christian, not last year but the year before, no idea when anything was happening. I'll just wait and find out about it after the fact, I guess. But
now I can ask my question.
Yes.
What's more dead? Because we didn't put this in the news, but I can just say it now. There's a game-breaking bug in Square's. I think it's Square, right? Avengers.
Yeah. Crystal.
That causes the game to crash like over and over again. The only way to fix that is if you delete your campaign progress. And people rightfully call it a dead game because there hasn't been an update for that game in what feels like forever. since the Wakanda update. I don't. When was the Wakanda update? I don't know. So my question is, what's more dead, E3 or Avengers?
Oh
You know what's
man.
funny is that this fix for the what is essentially a crash loop making your game unplayable. This reminds me of Rockstar's $5.99 a month. Oh, what's the matter? The game's too grindy. I've got a fix for you. It just costs you something. I love that. I love hilarious that it came from the actual Avengers account where it's like, hey, we've got a fix for you. Might delete your
Delete
save.
your
Might
stuff.
delete everything you've worked for. Oh man.
I think I do want to answer that question, but I do think they did fix it. Like you don't have to do that anymore, to my knowledge, unless
Okay.
that is the way to fix
That's
it.
good.
That is good, but how quick was the turnaround time? Because why not just wait? Because you know
Over-
there's 4 or 5 people that were like, crap, let me just delete my save.
Yeah.
And then like 15 minutes later, like, never mind, we fixed it.
It was like
True.
a day turnaround, right, bro?
Oh
I think so.
24 hours, something like that.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
But the fact that it exists is obviously the problem alone.
Right.
But which is more dead? I would say Avengers, because I don't know. I just want to shit on that game a little bit.
Yeah. Let it out, bro. Let it out.
I want to delete 80 hours of progress for them to fix it in 24 hours. Yeah, makes sense.
My God,
Now, luckily, this only affects people playing Avengers. So
which is not
like a
many
dozen.
people.
yeah, a dozen people
There
were
are
real
dozens of
upset,
us.
Wow.
and 4 of them deleted their save progress. So a third of
25%? Yeah.
Oh man. Quick.
And I was actually hopeful after the War for Wakanda update. When was I wrong?
Sorry, bro.
That's on you.
Was I wrong?
What's that
It
saying?
is.
Fool me once, fool me
Fool me
twice.
once, yeah.
Quick fantasy critic draft check-in. Dan's winning. Dan's like at 800 points now. Christian's
Damn.
like at 300,
Wow.
and then Rashan's got 10, and I've got 0. And I'm probably not that far off. Do you have the numbers, Dan?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you read them
I
off
wonder
last
if
time, so I'm
I
curious.
wonder if my bids went through. I forgot I bid on games.
Oh,
I'll never mind. I'll talk about it later. I've been trying to do it and I'm not able to do it, which is weird.
Oh, here, yeah, 3 games, all come in a Dark Brew Games PDX. So
what's the next
What I-
game
I
coming
can do it
out?
now. Never mind.
Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga on April 5th.
shut the fuck up. We get it. You bought everything, Dan.
I have 95 points. Christian has 56. Ro has 8. Gage has 6.
Insane how
ridiculous.
much of a lead you have.
Yeah, but I
This is
also have 4 more
ridiculous.
games than you too. So
Here,
That's
I have
it.
a few games coming out soon. Nintendo Switch Sports, obviously, so I'm hoping that one gives me some big boy numbers. And then I bought 4 indies because I wanted to. I don't know why. I looked at Dan's list and he had a lot, and I got a little jealous. And it's like, whoa, we're already through quarter 1. I should be having more games too. Like, what else is coming? You know. So I just said screw it. And I bought some more, maybe a little bit too hastily, but I got Cult of the Lamb, Trek to Yomi, Live Alive, and the Call of Duty Modern Warfare sequel that comes out later this year.
Oh fuck, that's a good get. I should have. That's good. That's good.
I may drop one. I don't know. We'll see.
I would like to point out that my first game that is coming out is Stray, which doesn't have a release date. So that's how things are looking for me. It was going to be Sons of the Forest in May, but
Oh, no.
now it's just Stray, which we know nothing about. So that's what I'm looking like. That's great.
Damn, dude, I don't know about your list.
I'm confident. You know what? I'm confident in my list. I think my indies are gonna pull through, but I don't know when anything's coming out, and it makes me want to cry. Also, every time I see my warning, I think I think the warning's on the same line as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're just telling me that, hey, that's a really bad counterpick. It's not though. But also I have a minus 10 to 15 to look forward to as well. Great. So that's how it's looking. It's pretty dire over here in the fantasy league. Now we move into the what you got for me. Daniel, what have you
yes.
been playing? What have you been doing?
I'm mad at you, Dan, for this.
Oh, he's mad at me. Well, first I'll start with I got a new up-spec monitor attachment for my Xbox Series S, and I got it in preparation for vacation because you can't go on vacation without your game console.
Where are you
just not
flying?
fun. I'm not flying. I'm driving. We're driving. That's a good one, Christian. You're funny. But yeah, no, this attachment is super cool, actually. Like, the Series S is already super small as it is, and this little attachment goes on the back of the Series S, and it basically uses all the ports that the Series S already has built in and uses the power of the Series S, so you don't have an extra power cord or anything. And it all snaps together nicely, and it's got a nice, like, I think it's like a 12-inch display or something like that, and it is actually super slick. I really like it. Super cool for traveling, and with how small the Series S is, it's perfect for travel. So if you're out there looking for next gen games for travel, it's great.
I like the picture you posted of you in the kitchen with it.
Yes. Yeah, I put it in my kitchen. Actually, that post freaking blew up. It has like 900 freaking likes and retweets and all kinds of stuff. And it's because the people
in the replies.
You should have been like, thanks to ManMeat, I've been able to get this.
No, it's because the people at UpSpec retweeted my tweet, and then I started getting all kinds of stuff. I'm like, Jesus, my notifications, please stop. I'm still getting them. But anyways, Christian, the next thing I was playing was the Climb 2 VR. And the reason why we haven't played together, Christian, is because I don't think the online works for that game anymore. Have you played it?
I know.
In a while?
We're supposed to play that other one.
Oh, Rec
together.
Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still down to do that. But
you haven't even added me on Oculus.
I don't even know what your Oculus is, do it.
I sent it to you.
Wait, didn't I add you? I thought I did. I thought I did add you, and you didn't add me back.
Tell me about the Climb.
Anyways, yes, the Climb is awesome, actually, minus the fact that the online doesn't work, apparently. Apparently, Crytek stopped supporting it. But yeah, I literally put it on for the first time, and the first like 10 minutes or so, it has you do like training and like teaches you how to do the different climb techniques and everything. And Christian's laughing, which makes me think that he realized that I did send him a request and he didn't add me back.
Yeah, I added you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's different climbing techniques that it teaches you. When I first got on that platform and you're looking and it's like you're in clouds, and I look down and I'm like, no, I don't do well with heights. And I freaking freaked out. I had to sit.
Why'd you buy it?
Well, because I thought
it's called the Climb.
I know, but I thought it would be cool. But anyways, no. Anyways, I had to sit down for a minute because I was freaking out too much. But I calmed myself down, got back up, and I was like, all right, let's try this. For the first probably like 15 minutes of it, I was like shaking pretty hard and I was uneasy. But then after that, like I was actually feeling like I was like, feeling better about it as I was playing more of it. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it actually helped me, I think, in a way. I don't know. Maybe not in real life, but it actually like made me feel more comfortable as I played more until I lost grip of something and then I started falling and I'm like, oh no. But
if I can add to the Climb conversation, because that's one of the first games I bought on Oculus. One of the things I love about it is how it makes you like use the grips to like hold a certain way, which leads to me getting like actually a little bit like tired in my arms as I do it.
Yeah.
And so like one of the things that I do when I go like bouldering is to like, hold and like lean back, that way your arms get a chance to rest, or like you let go of one and shake it, and you have to shake your arms in this one so you can like chalk up.
Yep.
So like I'm doing that and I feel like I'm like climbing, which is cool. But then another level of immersion is, I remember once I was looking down on one of like the Switzerland climbs and I misjudged a hold and I fell. And I had one of those moments where I thought I was falling for real. Dude, it's like the scariest thing I've ever done. It's rocks, dude. VR is amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it's really cool. I've enjoyed the heck out of it. And actually, I played Rec Room with another friend of mine, Nate, and we were enjoying the heck out of it. So
must be nice.
But Christian, you've never said, "Hey, let's play some Rec Room."
All right, I added you. We'll figure this. We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
Remember Hannah Montana?
I only heard the first part of that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear
your mic gated you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was like, nope.
I did a rendition of The Climb by Hannah Montana.
Oh, yes. Great song.
Best of both worlds.
That's probably for the best. Rashan, what do you got for us?
Oh man, I think we should cancel school
Oh no.
and like just get rid of it.
I agree.
Not necessary, so people like me can play video games.
Yep.
So not much. I restarted, or not restarted. I've beaten Celeste before, and I'm deciding to do another playthrough of it to do like some strawberry runs, do that collection thing, just something to do on the side when I have the chance. So it's a great game. That's a great game. I just booted it up and it gave me the intro. It's like just breathe. You can do this sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm getting the feels all over again. If you haven't played Celeste, people play Celeste. It's a great game. So I played that and I'm trying to get back on Ace Attorney. But besides that, that's it. I still haven't played Kirby. So bummed about that. But hopefully soon I'll be able to pick up Kirby.
Christian, what you got for me?
Yeah, as you all know, I beat Elden Ring last week, and I put like over 100 hours into that game, so I didn't feel like doing New Game Plus, and so I was like, you know what? I had Tunic downloaded. Let's get into it. So I started and then beat Tunic.
Eh.
How long
Yeah,
did it take you?
I don't know, around like 10 hours or so.
Oh, that's
Okay.
not bad.
I don't know.
And I will say, I think it's a great game. I don't like that. This game is harder than Elden Ring. I'm not gonna lie to you. That the end game areas are, in my opinion, worse than the one side boss that I had trouble with in Elden Ring. It's almost bad how like insane it gets. It was so
Yeah.
bad that like at the final boss, I decided to turn on the accessibility mode and like turn on no death because I didn't want to do it. Like it's so bad. So yeah. And then after that I was like, you know what? There's a secret ending. Who's played Wind Waker here? Bro, you played Wind Waker?
On my wish list.
A long
have,
time
yes.
ago.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I won't say this because it's kind of Tunic spoiler. So I'll just stop. I'll just move on. There's one other thing story related that I did not like, and then I ended up looking up the secret ending because I did not want to waste my time with what it asked me to do after that.
Right.
So, beat Tunic the normal route. I then jumped into Fortnite because my friend wanted to try out no build mode back when it was just a temporary thing. We didn't know it was going to be a permanent mode for this season. And let me tell you, yes, Fortnite is a fever dream. I was looking at Kakashi dance to Megan Thee Stallion, and I was like, I don't know what this game is anymore. Oh, look, it's Bruno Mars just running around, a cat person. And then now I want to buy an anime girl next time the shop updates. I don't know who I am, but I did have fun with Fortnite, and we did get a few wins, so that was cool. And then I started up Ghost Runner, which was one of the PS Plus games I think from either February or March. I can't remember when. I think it was March. And I finally had the time to get to it, and Ghost Runner is incredible. On console, maybe it's not the best because like I feel like if you're better with mouse and keyboard, like a mouse is going to be better for aiming. But the stick has worked just fine for me. And I love like super fast gameplay, dashing around, like doing cool parkour stuff. So Ghost Runner has been my go-to jam like every night since I started it this week. And yeah,
Christian,
playing.
I enjoyed the heck out of that game until I got to a certain point and I could not get past it. And I'm like, well, crap. I literally gave up on it, but I loved it up to that point.
Was it past the first boss or before then?
No, it was past the first boss. Yeah,
Okay.
It was well into the game. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. One more question. I'm sorry. I'm looking at eBay copies of Wii Sports for $30. Should I do it?
Yeah. Better to
$30.
have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, but the
Well,
new
I'm trying.
one-
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to hold off to see when Nintendo Switch Sports because I'm gonna get Switch Sports, and I'm trying to see whether or not like Wii Sports will go either decrease in price, hopefully not increase. I don't know. We'll see.
Just do it before the Wii shop closes,
Yeah.
unless it already has.
No,
I'm thinking.
it's a disc from eBay.
Oh.
Right, I'm saying. Well, yeah. I guess you'll always have that available. Never mind.
Because I don't think Wii Sports is a game on the shop.
I don't know. Yeah. You're probably right.
Anyway,
Yes.
Here's what you got for me. Glad you asked. I've been playing RoboQuest on Game Pass PC, and it's fantastic. I highly recommend everyone check it out immediately, and also your parents do. It is it's a really fast-paced roguelike, except the twist is that it's a first-person shooter. So, really fun art style, really colorful. It's Dan was trying to guess what I was playing earlier when I was streaming it, and he guessed Borderlands. He's like, no, wait, is that Overwatch? It looks like both of the two combined. It's got a very fun, cell shaded, sort of smooth, high tech sort of design, very Overwatch esque. It's really fun. It's coming off of Hades. I'm definitely kind of reinvigorated when it comes to roguelikes, which is also why I checked out Tunic as well. And it's just fun. It's very fast paced, very fluid. Definitely recommend playing it on a mouse and keyboard. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. RoboQuest,
What are
highly
you laughing
recommend.
at?
I was looking at a trailer before Gage brought this up. I was like, this looks like Overwatch, and the guns in the game are literally Overwatch. Like one of the guns is
The
Soldier
revolver?
70. Yeah, it's just Soldier 76's gun.
Yeah.
One of them is like a turret, like Orissa's turret, and some guy has a hammer, like what's his name? And there's the Hanzo bow. No, this is Overwatch. I love it.
Torbjorn, or is that his name?
Torbjorn.
I think it's he does have a hammer, but I'm thinking about the knight guy, the big knight guy.
Oh, Reinhardt.
But some of these weapons are just like straight up Overwatch weapons.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
But this is the thing, the game feels so fluid and so fun to play. It's really great. It's got a really good system for upgrading. All the upgrades that happen to your character happen really quickly, and it's really easy to sort of just shoot. They've got a really cool inventory UI layout where it's just really easy to pick up an upgrade and immediately know what it's for. And if you're looking for a fast-paced FPS roguelite, I recommend RogueQuest. It's free on Game Pass PC, right? It's a good time. Aside from that, I've been playing Forza. Like I said, still not used to the 4K QLED TV. Still enamored with it. So still playing Forza. Booted up Tunic because that was 4K enhanced. I downloaded. Why am I blanking on the name? Oh my god. Compulsion Games. What's their game?
We Happy Few?
Few. I re-downloaded We Happy Few. I'm gonna try and give that another go. Although I realized I downloaded it on the Xbox and I think it's on for PC as well, which is probably where I'll want to play it. But I was so hyped for that game, and then it came out and it was game preview. Not, I thought it was a lot of people thought it was going to be a fully finished game, and it was game preview, and it just didn't quite live up to the hype. But I do like that genre of game, and I really still dig the art style and the vibe of that game, and I love alternate history stuff. So I'm gonna try and give that another go. I haven't started playing that yet, so we'll see how that goes. I need to finish BioShock first, though. That's the history game. But big takeaway is RoboQuest and Forza. Both great games. Moving on to topic of the show, ladies and gentlemen, Spartacus has been revealed. It is surprise. It's it's just been PlayStation Plus all along. PlayStation has unveiled
Not
its long.
PlayStation Neo.
It's like the Scooby Doo unmasking. It's PlayStation Plus. So yeah, PlayStation has unveiled its long rumored Game Pass, in quotes, these are big quotes, style subscription service, which comes in the way of a PlayStation Plus rebrand. The PlayStation Plus service now comes in 3 tiers, each priced differently and offering different perks. Existing PlayStation Plus members will be moved to PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the lowest tier at $9.99 United States dollars, which is essentially indistinguishable from how PlayStation Plus currently exists. It's pretty much the exact same thing.
That is month to month, and you can still. The big question. Well, I guess I'll just wait till you're done. You're done. Sorry.
Thanks, Christian. Where is that? PlayStation. So the second tier is PlayStation Plus Extra, priced at $15 United States, and provides up to a catalog of 400 PlayStation 4 and PS5 games from first-party and third-party developers. These are available for download, and it's interesting is that it doesn't seem to mention if this is a month-to-month switching out system, if it's just 400 and they stay there and you get more added on. It'll be interesting to see how that works. So that's PlayStation Plus Extra, which is awful naming. And then the final tier is PlayStation Plus Premium, priced at $20 a month, which adds an additional 340 additional games from PlayStation 1 PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PSP. Now, what's interesting about this tier, all of the PS3 games are only playable from streaming. However, they haven't specified which ones, but apparently some of the games from the pool of PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and PSP, some of them are streamable and some of them are downloadable. Don't really know how that works. So it's a bit confusing, but that's pretty much the service. This is what a lot of leaks have mentioned and have reported on. I'm pretty sure it's actually exactly as it's been leaked. So the first question is, how do we all feel about the subscription service in terms of what you get versus what you pay for? How are we all feeling on that? And then I'm going to jump in after we've had a chance to discuss that. I'm going to move over to a statement from Jim Ryan where he gave a quote on why they're not adding PlayStation first party games day and date to the service, which is another key component. So, Christian, go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to add that the numbers you have are correct for month to month, but that they are including a yearly thing, which is one of the big questions that we had is yearly going away, because month to month would be terrible. You would be losing so much money. It would not be worth it, in my opinion. Honestly, premium is barely worth it. Well, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Right.
But yeah, you can do a yearly subscription, which a lot better for your wallet. So
yes,
and quarterly too is cool.
And quarterly, really. Oh,
I do like
nice.
that they give all these options. I wish Xbox did that. They used to, but they don't anymore. Sorry, Rashan. So how does this feel? Looking at what we have here and everything that you get with each tier, how does this make you feel? Do you think that it's? How do you feel in terms of quality of the content that you get versus the price that you're paying?
I don't know if I see the value in it just yet. I just have a question here, and maybe it was already answered, but for PlayStation Plus Premium, you get the 340 additional games from PS3, the PS2, and PSP, and all that stuff. You get access to it, but do you still have to pay to download that stuff? Like, do you still have to purchase those games, or are those just available? Those are just available for you.
They're available to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay. That's not what I thought. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. So if I pay $119.99 yearly, I get all these games to just play if I want to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The caveat being that all the
You have to
PS3
stream
games
some.
have to be streamed.
Right.
And then some of the PS2, PS1, and PSP games are available for download, but some of them have to be streamed as well.
Okay. Yeah, for me personally, I don't see the value in it just yet. I have to see what those 340 games are, I guess. But I can't see as much as I love games preservation and I want this to be a thing, and I want us to be able to have access to those old games. I don't know. I don't see myself shelling out that money for that. Yeah. Even though I do see this as a good step in preserving those old games. I'm glad that PlayStation Plus is sticking around, but if it wants, and this, as you said, in big quotations, this is not really a Game Pass competitor because they're not really doing anything to combat, to be on that same level. They're just essentially letting us play older games, which Xbox already does for nothing, right? They just have a backwards compatibility backlog library. Right. If you want to purchase the game, you can. But yeah, I need to see more, I think, and the fact that they didn't really show us a lot is kind of worrying me as to what the games are when they do reveal it. But yeah, I need to see more. Right now, I'm not super sold on it.
Right. I'm gonna jump in real quick here just because of what you mentioned about game preservation. I've got a bit of a hot take here. Somebody might call me an extremist for this take, but
oh no,
I'm gonna say it. The only type of real game preservation is hardware-based native ability to play a game.
Right.
Yeah. Because
that's not a hot take, that's just facts.
But I mean, yeah, okay, all right, I'll take it. But I need to be able to have, say, an Xbox Series X that I can disconnect from the internet, that can live in perpetuity, that I can put an Xbox One game into and it can play. That is real game preservation. So I agree with you, Rashan, where this is a good step in the right direction, but it's a subscription. You're like, especially for the games that are being streamed. I mean, if those servers go down, if they decide
Yeah.
to end the service, if
Yeah.
you can't afford to pay for it, then you're not preserving those games. Now they're gone. You've now
Right.
removed
Like
access, right? So,
10 years in the future or 11 years in the future, whenever the PS6 comes out, who's to say that they still have this service around? Where did those games go? Yeah, being tied to subscription service does kind of games preservation with a huge asterisk for sure.
exactly, right. And especially it's funny coming from Sony because they're the ones that need to. I mean, well, Nintendo is in its own ballpark at this point, but when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation, I mean, they should be doing more to ease the concerns because Jim Ryan has already made really troubling statements about older games and how nobody wants to play old games and stuff like that, and he had to walk that back later. So I agree. This is kind of like, yeah, it's a good step, but this is not game preservation. But I digress. Daniel,
Yes.
how does this make you feel?
Now, to be fair about the game preservation thing, is that true that you can play Xbox One games on a Series X, like if it's not connected to the internet? Because I didn't think you could do that.
On the Xbox, I don't know if it's changed, but on the Xbox One you could because I own the Halo 2 Collector's Edition on disc, and I used to throw that in the Xbox every now and again. But it's been a year since I've done that, so it could have
Gotcha.
changed between now and then. But they did have hardware-based native.
Because I thought you had to install something like when you install the backwards compatible version of the game. I thought you had to download that from the internet, like from their servers. Maybe I'm mistaken in that. It's been a long time since I've actually done that. But anyways, yeah, the entire PlayStation Plus revision here, I think, in my opinion, like the greatest value here for me would be the extra tier. And
Yes.
obviously, like as we talked about a little bit already, like I really like the pricing in terms of giving you 3 different options, paying monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And each one that you do, you save more money. You know, if you do quarterly, you save a little bit more than you would by paying monthly. If you pay yearly, you save a little bit more than you would pay for quarterly. So I really like that business model. And like you said, Gage, I wish Microsoft would do that as well for Game Pass Ultimate. But yeah, I feel like the extra tier gives you the most value here just because you're getting a large selection of games, 400 games for $15 a month, which is on par with what Game Pass Ultimate is. Obviously, Game Pass Ultimate includes first-party games, but it's not like they're not getting any big games on here. Like they already announced that.
They're getting some big games already.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, please.
Death Stranding, God of War, Spider-Man, plus Miles Morales, which that's great. Mortal Kombat 11, Returnal.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're getting a lot of good content. It's just they're not getting day one releases. And it will be interesting to see, like, what is that cadence going to be for them releasing their first party content into the extra tier. Like, obviously, at a certain point, I feel like we're going to have an idea of, like, okay, this game's going to release in the extra tier 6 months from now or 6 months after launch.
Looking at you, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A good way to measure that is Ratchet and Clank in that.
I don't think they announced whether it is or not, so I'm assuming
if Returnal is and Ratchet and Clank isn't there only like a month or two between those games? We could kind of use that as a starting point for however many months.
Yeah,
yeah.
Returnal
it's
came
also
out first, I think, right?
Yeah, it did, but it's also like one is they're both AAA studios, I guess now in my opinion, but like one is like a studio with like a lot of lineage with PlayStation, and one is like their first AAA game, so you don't want to use it quite as like the bar for like timeline, because I think PlayStation might see these games as kind of two different. Like Returnal for me is like, we know a Ratchet and Clank game is like, that's gonna sell because it has like an icon of a character and people like buy that as like a series, versus Returnal, which is like this roguelite, very difficult game, very niche game that like maybe people might try, might not try, and this is where I think extra might work so well, is you can put those games that people are kind of curious about but may not want to spend the full $70 on a few months down the line. They can try it out there. I think that, like Dan was saying, that's a great place to have extra in.
For sure.
Yeah, and the $100 tier for yearly, I feel like, is a pretty good value for what you're getting in that tier. And like you guys have said, like in terms of the premium tier, a lot of the allure to that tier is cloud streaming access, which is essentially like PlayStation Now type stuff. personally, I think that should be included if you own the games regardless, because that's how it is on Xbox. Like, you don't have to pay for cloud streaming on Xbox. If you own the game and it has cloud support, you can just play it. You don't have to pay for anything. So, like, I feel like that should be a similar type deal, but I don't know.
Now the second part of this that I want to get into. Sorry,
hey,
go
let
ahead.
let me go. Huh? Gonna ask everyone else?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Patiently. I'm just kidding. Giving you a hard time. First, the good news is, like Dan said, I think the pricing model is great. Although I would like to see a family plan now. Now that I'm hearing stuff about Xbox getting that, like PlayStation, like soon, baby, come on. Like we talked about, I think Extra is probably like a really great tier because you get access to like a lot of games, and specifically PS4 and PS5 games that like I just said. If you're kind of curious about like smaller kind of titles, more niche titles, those might have a good chance of going into that subspace down the line. I have two big negatives. I can't remember. Why can't I remember the first one all of a sudden? Well, let's go with the other one first. Is that I think it's been so long. Why can't we stream? Why can't we download PS3 games natively? And I know the cell architecture of the PS3 is why, but my counterpoint to that is like, well, if we're paying a premium price for a premium service, then I think it's worth investing the millions of dollars to have in my opinion, a premium service and let you download these games, right? Because I don't think streaming games is premium at all. And there are a lot of markets that don't have high down or up speeds for you to stream these games. So much so that PlayStation doesn't offer the premium service in those markets, which is like, okay, like if this feels like a half measure. And which speaking of half measures, I don't like when companies make announcements near the end of quarters just for investors, because this to me is very much a half announcement. Because much like Rose said, this doesn't feel like a full announcement yet. We don't know the full list of 340 games that are going to be offered. Like that is a lot of games, and for them to not mention any is just baffles me. Like let's get an idea of what kind of games we can expect, because there could be a lot of shovelware for all we know. I don't think that'll be the case, but like at least giving us an idea of what we can expect, and then maybe I'll like be more excited about this service. But as of right now, it's like this is still 3 months away. Like you did this for investors, and like I get that, and cool to finally have it be official. But other than that, like I still want like more details before I can make a proper judgment.
More importantly, too, Christian, like I know you're saying, like, sure, they might not all be shovelware, but more importantly, how many of these 340 games are downloadable? Are you able to play native?
Sure.
Right? Because it is well within reason that they could say there's 340 additional games, 280 of them have to be streamed. In which case, I mean, like a lot of people, that will affect a lot of people's decision, right? Because that's the whole point, is that you're getting an extra 340 games for that tier. But if you're wanting those 340 games, like, oh, well, maybe I can play them locally because this is the premium tier. Well, no, you can't. And another point there, just before we move on to Dan, is that I'm sick of the cell processor nonsense. Okay, it's not the Enigma. People have PS3 emulators on PC. Just random people in their basement have done this. It's not that it can't be done. It's that Sony doesn't want to prioritize it. That is the dirty truth of the story. It's not.
Let me play Metal Gear Solid 4 again, man.
We're not putting people on Mars. All right, we're not fighting the people from Destiny. The Crawl. What are they called?
Cabal.
The Ball. That's what it is.
The Cabal.
The Cabal. There we go. Dan, go ahead.
I just had a really quick question. The 340 games, does that includes PSP, PS2, and PS4, or is that just one? Is it just PS3 games? What is that 340?
So the 340 additional games is from PS3, PS2, PSP, and PS1.
And PS4, right?
And PS4, yes. And it doesn't specify which ones will have to be streamed and which ones can be downloaded.
Gotcha. Even more.
Sorry, yeah. I thought PS4 games were an extra. Well, see, we're already confused. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh, you know what? No. Yeah, it's
so
kind of confusing because it
the
says
340 is PS3 backwards.
oh
The 400
Yeah.
is PS4/PS5 games.
okay, PS4 streaming is the premium. Okay,
Right.
sorry. Yeah, I
Got
was
it. So it's a
confused.
total of 740 games so far.
Yeah.
400
Right.
of are PS4, PS5 games, and then the additional are the PS3 and
like-
backwards.
Why didn't they just say like all of our first party PS3 and PS4 games are included in this? Like
Because
at
it
this,
might not be all of them.
I know
Yeah, probably.
that's my point,
have
but
no
like,
idea.
why not just like who's buying PS3 or PS4 games now? I guess new stuff. You're buying new stuff, but like old PS3 and PS4 games.
Well, people
I
might have
ju-
collections, right? People might have discs.
I just bought some discs for PS3 games that I can't play but that I want. Okay, Dan.
Okay, that's fair.
There's a lot of good
How else
games
am I
this
gonna play-
generation.
Yeah. PlayStation All Stars, baby. Good game.
Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper.
Mm.
Dan?
Oh, that's all I had. That was it.
Okay. Okay, so moving on to the second half of my question then becomes because this is very clearly not a Game Pass competitor. It is its own sort of system. This leads me to a quote that we got from Jim Ryan recently, and I'm just going to read it out to you here, which is that when asked about first-party games not coming to the PlayStation Plus premium service day and date, Jim Ryan gave this response here, and I'm just going to read a couple different parts here, but we're going to start off with, we feel like we are in a good virtuous cycle with the studios, explains Jim Ryan, where the investment delivers success, which enables yet more investment, which delivers yet more success. We like that cycle, and we think our gamers like that cycle. Later on, he continues and speaking about adding games day and date to the service, he says, we feel if we were to do that, the games we make at PlayStation Studios, that virtuous cycle will be broken. The level of investment that we need to make in our studios would not be possible. We think the knock-on effect on the quality of the games that we make would not be something that gamers. Now, you guys know I love to disagree with Jim Ryan, but I think there might be a grain of truth here. Now, the only reason I bring that up, and this is not to call, I'm going to use you as an example, Dan, but this is not to call you out because I've done this myself and I've seen lots of people do this, is that already subconsciously there seems to be this idea of, oh, do you see this game coming out? I don't know if I'll get it. It looks like it's a Game Pass game. It looks like there seems to be this sort of subconscious that there's a certain tier of game that's like, obviously we know Xbox first party games come to Game Pass. They're coming regardless. Those are the big premium games like your Bethesda's. But there seems to be this sort of growing subconscious idea that there is this type of like, this is a Game Pass game, as in this is a B tier, this is a mediocre game, or this is like a game that could be good, could be bad. So I think there might be, I'm not willing to say definitively yes or no, but I think that there might be a grain of truth here to what Jim Ryan is saying, where if you have this steady source of income, you might not be able to sort of, if Naughty Dog releases a game and it makes hundreds of millions, they can look at that and say, okay, they made this much money, we're going to put this much more into their next game to then yield more. Like, I see the logic he has sort of laid out. So do you guys think that there is sort of this possibility that subscriptions can hurt sort of the investment in games or even just how we budget games? Christian, what do you think about this?
Oh, big question for me to answer. There's a lot of places I can go. I'll just start with it. I think Jim Ryan is certainly, like, for the most part, like, right. Maybe not with the way I think about exclusive titles, because obviously, like, to answer like another point you made, like the counter argument is Destruction All Stars. Like, sure, that was a PS Plus game, but like when I look at that, that's a Game Pass game. That's a PS Plus game if I've ever seen one. You know what I mean? So like the reverse is true from PlayStation side as well. But for like, I think like the first party studios, I think with the caliber of games that they're wanting to make and invest in, then yeah, I think we've been having this conversation for the past year that I'm not sure that subscription service would yield the same amount of kind of returns on making those kinds of games, because just the income would be different. You don't have this massive pool of money to invest in the studios to make whatever they want to make, sell
Right.
at a premium price. We'll buy those, it's successful, and then you can use that money. Obviously it's profit, but you can also use that to invest into studios to make another game, a sequel, a new IP, or invest into getting acquiring new studios. So there's really something there. I'm very curious to see what Dan has to say, because when I think of Dan, I think of him as the Xbox guy, and so I want to hear what he has to. What do you think, Jim? About Jim Ryan?
What do I think about Jim Ryan? I think Jim Ryan's fine.
Yeah, he's all right. He's not
fine.
my favorite.
He's fun. I don't think either approach is wrong personally, and I don't think it necessarily is indicative based on whether it's a big blockbuster studio like Naughty Dog or tiny little freaking Machine Games or something. I don't know. Machine Games isn't tiny, but I couldn't think of anything else. But I think that Microsoft still is trying to get to the point where their first party is on par with what Sony is doing, and we haven't seen the result of that yet. We haven't seen the true result of the Bethesda acquisition, and when the Activision acquisition goes through, there's still a lot more that we have to see from that. Obviously, we've had some games come out lately that are more games as a service. Forza Horizon is a kind of a outlier in that, because it's not as much of a game as a service, but usually Microsoft is pushing more games as a service than Sony is. Sony is doing more, the big tentpole blockbusters, single player games. And when you're doing those, it's a much different beast than it is doing a ongoing game as a service where you're getting, revenue from other sources like microtransactions and, subscriptions or whatever else. So I don't necessarily think that either approach is wrong. I don't think that Microsoft in their current form is on par with what Sony is doing at their first party studios, but I think it has the potential to get to that point when we see the fruits of their acquisitions that they've started to do.
Honestly, this is why I think Extra is a really good place for a lot of these games, where maybe launching on day one, you do get the dippers there. You'll get the profit from people who are really interested in supporting that game on release, and the people that don't, you don't just lose on that. You don't lose it altogether, because if they're paying in for this extra service, we'll be able to play the games down the road. So I feel like that's a good middle ground, even though you're not completely sacrificing all the profits from launching day one on some kind of subscription service.
Agreed.
Yeah, I as much as I didn't see the value in this program and it not being a Game Pass competitor, I do agree that they don't need to really have a Game Pass competitor. As Dan was saying, Xbox does need to catch up a little bit with the exclusive side of things. And I am just one person, but there was no way in hell that I was going to play Halo if it wasn't on Game Pass. I wasn't going to pick that up if it was just a new game and I had to pay $70 or $60 or whatever, $90 in Canada to play that game. But because it was on Game Pass, I checked it out. And it's not the same on PlayStation side for me. Again, I'm just one person, but I think the general consensus is that their exclusives are critically acclaimed and people come to PlayStation to play those games. And when God of War comes out, I'm going to play it. I'm going to pay that $90. I'm not going to wait for it to be on PlayStation Plus or anything like that. I'm just going to play it day one because I'm excited for that game and I know what a PlayStation exclusive is. And I think Jim Ryan knows that he doesn't need to put his first party games on a subscription service right now. And I think what Xbox is doing is working for them. And I just don't think that Jim Ryan needs to pivot to that strategy right now, if ever, because what he's doing is working for PlayStation, and Nintendo's doing whatever the hell Nintendo's doing, but everybody seems to be winning in their own unique way. But yeah, it will only the future will tell if he shifts gears on this. But as how PlayStation is right now, I don't think they need to do that.
Well, and I think it's interesting that he mentions, I think he mentions that he believes that gamers also don't want them, and they also like the way that things are. And I have to say, to his credit, there's kind of some truth there, because Game Pass has only been getting bigger and bigger the last 3 years, and yet with the launch of Series X and PS5, I think the most recent analysts say that the PS5 is still outselling Xbox 2-1. So there is some truth to that, where it's even with all the amazing economic advantages that Xbox has and like the value of Game Pass, people still they want those, next gen just absolute behemoth. They want those Naughty Dog style games. They want those God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us style games. And when you think about it, unfortunately, the closest thing to that on the Xbox platform is Rockstar, is your Red Dead Redemption 2. Like it's not even an Xbox studio. It's just a third party that happens to be on the Xbox platform. So
I won't say that I don't want it. I would love if PlayStation had a Game Pass equivalent that were giving us day one games, and I would want that.
right.
But they don't have to do it. Is
They don't
what
have
I
to
think.
do it because you're already willing to pay the premium because you know
Right.
you're getting those premium titles, right? And that's the thing is that, yeah. Sorry, Christian, go ahead. I'm curious to what you're going to say.
I mean, the real answer is there's no way to really know unless they actually do it, right? Like, then we would see the actual results, because until then, it's just speculation on all our fronts, including Jim Ryan, right? So there really is no way to know.
It is kind of unique in that sense, because until PlayStation fails at its current model or Xbox releases an incredible thing, like we don't really know if the Game Pass model has the potential to be way better, or if Sony's way of doing things has the potential to be way worse, because they're both, like Rashan said, they're both kind of doing what they need to right now.
If I'm being honest, having access to Xbox games on PC and playing my PlayStation as like my first party kind of location, I've never been happier, because for me, these two console makers are doing two totally different things, and I'm being satiated on both fronts. I couldn't be happier having that expendable income to pay for a Game Pass and then pay for a $70 title on PlayStation once every 2 months. Like, I'm comfortable. I know it's not the case for a lot of people, which sucks. They have to choose, or if maybe they can't even choose, right? So that's a bummer if you're looking forward to some kind of subscription service on PlayStation. And again, it's very hard to hear stuff like this, or even say stuff like what Jim Ryan said, and not sound arrogant. So I can see where he's coming from too, by the way. Like, hopefully he's not like burning people, but like, we'll have to wait and see what the subscription model with extra turns out to be, because I think they really have to nail getting games that maybe don't fill that market again, like or kind of like the games that are like harder to market and like really sell to get on that platform, and that might get more people to check those out. So,
Gentlemen, do we have any final comments, concerns, closing comments?
Nope. The longest episode in history here.
Is it actually again? No, it's
Another record.
every time Gage hosts.
I thought we went over 2 hours last time.
No, we did not.
I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? I've got 12 minutes. We're good.
Nope.
Here it is. I'm not hosting anymore. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. All right? I've already embarrassed myself in front of ManMeat, having you guys walk back our sponsorship deal. They're watching this, seeing. Use code Daniel.
Has this ever been answered? Like, what do you get?
So ManMeat, okay, so it's
What
actually
do they sell?
really...
Should I
So
ask?
just wait, Shan, somebody's asking about our sponsor. That's a good thing. So ManMeat, it looks to solve this overpopulation problem and also be economic at the same time. So what you do is you go to manmeat.com, you use code Daniel Prindle, and you type in what kind of meats that you like cow, pig, and then they'll send you the human equivalent from overpopulated countries.
That's terrible. I don't want to be sponsored by this.
Yeah, I don't either.
If you like the taste of ManMeat, go to...
All right. Take us out of here, Gage.
I don't.
Thanks everyone for watching. This has been Podcast PXN, a video game podcast where we talk about video games. I have been your host for the last time, Gage Dempster at Gilbo Biggins on Twitter. I am joined by Daniel the Manual and Christian and Rashan. Everyone, have a lovely evening.
Don't go to ManMeat.
Code Daniel Prindle.
See ya.